talk about the laws of leadership, and in particular for our industry, because we lead a voluntary army. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're nobody's boss. They don't have to report to you, and you don't have to report to anybody either, which is the beauty of it. You get to be your own boss. And so when it comes to leading voluntary teams, there are slightly different rules and laws for leadership, because there's lots of different leadership principles out there that work well in the corporate world where they have to listen to you or they're going to get fired. But in this case, how do you influence and help them? Because sometimes who's trying to reach out to somebody and you're trying to help them, but they don't want to listen. They don't want to be coachable, and you're trying to teach them, but they just aren't having it. So who would like to get more cooperative teammates and have a team that not only follows, but you're developing leaders. You're developing them into leaders, and you are helping them develop other leaders as well. So this is our part of our executive director organization. Since the banquet, I believe we have 6 new executive directors that have qualified, and many of them here in this room because of the leadership in this room. But we like to have fun. We like to travel together. We like to get together and do fun things. And so every year at the executive director banquet, we like to take a picture. And so you'll see many of the people here in this room here on the stage as well. But rule number 1 in leadership is to get over yourself. Because as soon as you start leading someone else, it's no longer all about you. Just like when I became a mom for the first time, I realized that life was not all about me anymore. I'm responsible for these 3 beautiful lives that we brought into the world. And also when we get married, we have to learn that it's no longer all about us anymore. When I got married, someone wrote from my small group, Debbie. She wrote me a card, and I will never forget these words of wisdom. She says, always keep your spouse's needs ahead of yours, and God above them both, and you will always be happy. And she's been right so far in our relationship. That principle has worked. So we need to get over ourselves. I've seen so many people come and go in this business, and the reason is because they made it all about them. They wanted all the spotlight and the attention, and as soon as it wasn't on them anymore, they wanted to go somewhere else. And so you've got to, that's called having an ego. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. And ego stands for edging God out. So we need to get over ourselves, and we need to learn how to be unconditionally loving towards other people, and being as a coach for other people, even though you're like, how can I possibly be a coach? I can't even lead myself. We're going to help you with that, all right? But knowing that it's no longer just all about us. That's principle number 1. Principle number 2 is to start with yourself. It may not be all about you anymore, but when it comes to leading, you've got to lead with yourself. So, what are ways to lead yourself? Let me hear some audience participation. Go ahead.
Be an example.
Ooh, be an example for other people. Meaning, doing what?
Meaning, like, if you want people to be happy and excited, you have to also be that.
That's right. Be an example. Yes. You were saying?
Oh, train personal development. Just working on yourself consistently.
Yes.
Yep.
Working on yourself.
Show up to these events.
Show up to the events, and show up early. So many times, we've got a leader in California, his whole team shows up before he does, and then he's running in late, and they're all waiting for him. He got tickets for a lot of them, and they're all just waiting out there, and, it doesn't look good, right? Jim?
Be 100% accountable for your own actions.
Yes, that's a good one.
Read more books.
Read more books. Personally develop. Learn how to improve yourself, your thoughts, your relationships, your attitude, what comes out of your mouth. Because what you put in is what comes out. And if all you're doing is listening to the negative news and the garbage and the drama on social media all day, what's going to come out?
Drama.
Keep your word, do what you say you're going to do.
Amen. Right there. Do what you say you're going to do. So you truly have to start with yourself. We got to put our mask on first, right? Before you put your mask on somebody else. And you also want to take care of yourself. Self-care is so important. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is so you can have a full cup, so you can overflow. Because like in leadership, when you're responsible for leading teams and other people, and you're pouring out your energy to them, you feel depleted. It's a positive thing, though. It's just like at the end of the day, moms, right? We work, we run all day, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're making sure they have everything in their backpack. They didn't forget their homework. They got this, they got that. You get them out the door, and then you work all day, and then you come home and you take them to their sports and their activities. But at the end of the day, even though you're depleted, it was a great day, right? So we need to make sure we're filling up our tank with what? With good nutrition. This business is energy management, by the way. It's all about managing our emotional energy and our physical energy as well. And so exercising to have those endorphins, to get the blood flowing, to be healthy. Be healthy. If you don't want to be healthy for you, be healthy for everybody else in your life. Because they need you. They need you here longer on this earth. All right. Let's talk about principle number 3. And that's love is the answer. Love is the answer to almost every situation in leadership in this business. Let me tell you, there's a principle called Love and Respect. And it's a book by Dr. Egerich. And I absolutely love this book. It's actually a marriage book, but I think that it relates to parenting and it also relates to business. So the concept of love and respect is, the subtitle is the love she needs and the respect he most desires. Marriage book, right? And so the concept is when a woman feels love, she will naturally want to respect her husband. And when a man feels respected, he will naturally be loving. But the second that I am disrespectful to my husband, he naturally wants to withdraw his love. He doesn't intentionally try to say, I'm not going to be loving towards you. He just withdraws if I'm mouthing off and being disrespectful. And the same thing happens when a man is wanting to, is just being unloving or distant or something like that, not paying enough attention, she automatically wants to be disrespectful. And it's this crazy cycle in the book, as he says. But at any moment, you can stop the cycle by one of you being the bigger person and saying, I am going to show him respect even if I don't feel like it. Even if I feel like my needs are not being met, I am going to stop the cycle and I am going to start to show respect. And then all of a sudden, he warms up and starts to become more loving. And so then now we're in the positive cycle. Well, the same thing goes in leadership. I've noticed that a lot of people, there are a lot of leaders, we want to feel respected by our teams. We want them to be coachable and to listen to what we say. But have you ever heard the saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care? So it's true. It's a subconscious thing. If the people on our team don't feel unconditionally loved by you, they can tell. They can tell. And it's something that they're like grasping for, but they can't describe it. And same thing is you're wanting them to respect you. You're wanting them to not de-edify you or go against the grain or try to start and do their own thing and that kind of stuff. But at any moment, you can stop the cycle. So when I've learned this, because I've been in situations where I didn't feel loved by my leadership in my corporate job before, where I used to manage a health club, so it was kind of like a corporate job, but it was more like being in retail. And so, because you're there nights and weekends and all that kind of stuff. But once I started to show respect, even if I didn't feel like he deserved it, because he was just a mean, you know what. But then he became much more loving as a superior, right, to me. And same thing when it comes to leadership is showing unconditional love. That means you can't be talking about your team behind their back. It means you can't be complaining about them, rolling your eyes when they say certain things. You've got to unconditionally love your team because they can see it in your eyes. They can see what you think about them through your eye contact. They can tell. So I worked with a coach named David Bird, and he talked about believing in people's unlimited human potential. Believing in someone's unlimited human potential. If you're meeting with someone and they can tell that you truly believe that they could go all the way to the top, guess what they're going to do? They're going to rise up to your expectations, right? And so that's why we have a new $100,000 ring earner in the room, Miss Glenda Oriana, because she truly believes in every person she brings on board and helps them go all the way to the top. Every week we get a new report. We have a new manager. Well, there's like 6 new managers, and they're all on Glenda's organization every single week. And so love is the answer. Number 4, rule in leadership is commitment. And commitment is the most attractive thing about a leader, would you agree? When you have a leader that is like, I'm doing this thing, I'm planting my flag in the sand, I'm going all the way to the top, what? You want to follow that person. But if someone's like, I'm not sure, I'm just dipping my toe in to try it out, you want to try it out with me? You know, they are not as excited to follow you to the ends of this earth as the person at the front charging with the flag, ready to go into battle. Yes? Yes. And so commitment, what does that mean? Commitment is committing to the success system in the business as well. What is that? We have something called PAVE. P stands for personal development. If you've never heard of PAVE before, write this down. This is the Legal Shield Success System. P stands for personal development, a commitment to personal growth, reading those positive books, listening to those positive audios, taking care of yourself to be able to overflow to other people like we talked about earlier. Okay, P, PAVE. A, activity, being committed to doing your 2 exposures a day no matter what. Last night we had a little team gathering with Elsie's organization, and we had everybody commit to doing their 2 exposures a day and pair up with a workout partner, and they had to assign a reward for themselves. So if they did their 2 exposures a day consistently for the week, they got to reward themselves with something, but then they also assigned a consequence to themselves. So if they didn't do it, then they would have to do a consequence that they really don't want to do, which makes you want to do your activity, right? So being committed to the activity. V, vision, P-A-V-E, PAVE. V stands for vision. Constantly showing up at these big events will help show you the vision of what's possible. When I first got started, I started because I needed an extra $500 a month to pay off my credit card bills from a shopping problem that I had. And so, but when I came to these events, I saw people that were making $20 million in Legal Shield, and I'm like, okay, my vision got bigger. That's why we need to go to the international conventions and the big super regional that's coming here in January, January 9th. You have some of the top 7 figures. Everyone everyone turn to your neighbor and say, 7 figures.
7
7 figures means 1 million or more a year in personal income. Okay, these people taking home. You've got all of the 7-figure earners in the company coming to train you in 1 day, in 2 days. Actually, a 3-day event, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we had one in California. It was incredible. So as a leader, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you.
That's right.
Okay? As a leader, you need to be here and be committed to going to that event so your team will want to come. Because if your team goes to it, would you agree that they will leave with their hair on fire?
Yeah.
But it starts with you. They're not going to register unless you're coming. Does that make sense? Okay, and then the E in PAVE is events. We commit as leaders. The Legal Shield Success System is go to your weekly meeting and go to your monthly Super Saturdays. We have an event once a month as a state, as a region, getting together, hearing from leaders that are being flown in across the country. I'm actually from California. I'm not from Florida, although I love Florida. I'm thinking about a second home here. I came to pour into you because Mr. Daniel Gonzalez was so thoughtful and invited me to come. And so he paid his money for my flight and my hotel for me to be here for you. But all you have to do is contribute. These things cost thousands of dollars. I know because I run the ones in California. Thousands of dollars. And all you have to do is contribute your $45 that gives you all the training, and you get to build your whole team, okay, into the events. And so commitment is the most attractive thing. If you're not here, and I'll see this in California, people are like, is so-and-so, like they're asking for their leader. They're like, is so-and-so here yet? And I was like, oh, I didn't see them on the registration list. I didn't, I knew that leader wasn't coming because I hadn't seen that leader in months. And they were looking for their leader all day. And how did they know about the event? They got my email blast. But their leader wasn't there, and guess what? I didn't see that person next month either. You want your team to stay on fire. I was Jackie Cote, who's a $400,000 ring earner in Legal Shield. She had a little bit of a maternity leave because she's been having lots of babies. And I was speaking in Washington, D.C. a few months ago, and she took me to Spa World. And I loved it. I highly recommend you get on a plane, go to IAD Airport, Spa World. They've got like 18 different spa treatment rooms that you can go and sit in. Like one's like an onyx room, which takes all the mercury out of your bloodstream. One's the Himalayan sea salt room, and that will heal you. If you have a congestion or like the flu, go to a salt therapy room. You will be healed, okay? Because I caught something on the plane coming into DC, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do the Super Saturday. I was like, I don't know. But all of a sudden, a cough that would have lasted 10 days was in and out of me in 3 days because she took me to the Himalayan sea salt room. Anyway, I tell you all that to say, she goes, what's the secret? She was coming back. She had joined during the pandemic where everything was on Zoom. And a lot of her leaders had fallen out because, I'll tell you what, okay? So what happened, she goes, okay, we're coming back. The leaders are ready to come back. What is the one thing that you could tell me, the one thing to help my people sustain themselves in the business this time? And I said, well, that's easy. I mean, they have got to go to every Super Saturday and get themselves plugged into a weekly meeting. Yeah. And she goes, no. Like, what's the one thing that I can tell them to do to be successful and to sustain themselves long term? I'm like, go to your Super Saturday every month and find a weekly meeting to get plugged into. And she's like, no. She didn't get it. I had to say it 3 times and a couple more. But then she went to her first Super Saturday that Saturday. She went to her first Super Saturday that Saturday that I spoke at, and she goes, I get it. See, most of my business, I was a busy mom having 3 kids. I didn't have the time, if I wanted to recruit 30 people, I didn't have the time to spend an hour with each person, one-on-one, 30 hours a week. What if I wanted to recruit 100 people? What if I wanted to have 1,000 people on my team? But as a busy mom, I had time to show up one Saturday a month to come get trained and have all my team meet me there. So on one Saturday afternoon, I got trained and all 30 of my people got trained at the same time. What do you think? Working hard or working smart sounds better? Working smart. Now the weekly meeting is for the purpose of being able to invite guests consistently, right? So every day we're out there doing our 2 exposures a day. And then we invite them to the weekly meeting for the home run to sign them up. Does that make sense? So we're doing 2 exposures a day. We're sharing Legal Shield with 2 friends that we know. We're meeting people at Starbucks. We're going to networking groups. And then we're inviting them all to the weekly meeting so they can see the presentation and sign up. You get it?
Yes.
But guess what? The reason why the weekly meeting is so important is because it duplicates. You don't need to be good at doing the presentation. You just need one of the people in that room to be good at doing the presentation. And you could be out sharing Legal Shield with 2 new people a day, and you invite all your people, and someone else is going to do a presentation. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
But you're like, yeah, Liz, they can see a full overview on Zoom. Yes, they can see it on Zoom, but sometimes they need to see it to believe it. They need to shake a hand to know that this is real. And when people get belly to belly, they also get heart to heart, and they can see eye to eye. And so that's why it's important to have your team plugged in, and that's why we need to be committed as leaders. So, we are no longer in a pandemic. Many of you were committed to a weekly meeting and going to a Super Saturday, but you're not anymore. Why? What happened? Why were you so successful to be able to sustain in the business? And a lot of people say it's because I grew up doing a weekly meeting and a Super Saturday. But why aren't you doing it anymore? I'm asking you to commit again to the next wave of leaders that you're going to be developing in your organization, and for your next ring level and your next executive director level that you're going to hit all the way to platinum and to diamond and to your $1 million ring. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Leadership law number 5. Always do what's best for your customers and for your team. Always do what's best for your customers and for your team. I'll give you an example. We were having a guy. Hold on, let me just make sure I covered everything. I'm getting older because I can't see anymore.
I got readers.
I know. Where did it go? Oh, okay. All right. So, always do what's best for them. You know, I have a guy on the team who was signing up, walking into businesses and only selling the 189 plan. That's the 169 plus a trial defense supplement, right? And he wasn't letting them know that there were other options. And he was signing up a lot of them. And then, when money got tight, the business owner would call into the company to discontinue their plan, and the customer service would say, well, we would love to keep you as a customer. Is there any way we could just change you to one of our other plans? And they're like, what other plans? And when they found out that you could get a business plan starting at $49 a month, they were livid. And so always do what's best for the customer and not for your pocket.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Always do what's best for them. Now, always do what's best for your team. Don Brinkley, who's a ring earner in our organization, we live in the same city. So and I'm in networking groups and she's in networking groups, and we're always bumping into the same people. So I'm like, oh, nice to meet you, the Legal Shield. Oh, do you know Don Brinkley? Yes. Right? And so I just let her have all of those, even if I met them first and then she's now having a one-to-one with them. You know what? Let her have it. It's what's best for her. It's going to help her, and it helps me too. Right? Versus me just sign them up and it only helps me. But let her have it so it helps us both. But it helps her because she needs to she's going from her $50,000 to her $100,000 ring. So always do what's best for them. And number 6 is to always have a marketing strategy. If you don't have a strategy of where you're going to get your customers or prospects or exposures in today, you wake up feeling lost. Who's ever woke up feeling lost before? Like you're excited about Legal Shield, you really want to build it, you want to go all the way to the top, and you're like, what do I do? So you do the dishes. That's what you do. Because you got to do the dishes. You can't let them sit there. And then you're like, okay, I'm ready to work my business. You sit down at your desk. What do I do? I got to do the laundry. That's what I got to do. I got to do it before, Lucas gets home so he can have his baseball uniform clean. And you got to have a marketing strategy. So last night, we were sitting down with Elsie's team, and I said, hey, listen, there's 5 fishing ponds you can be fishing in. You've got your warm market, which we're always ever growing our list of people that we know, right? And who here has honestly exposed 100% of the names that are in your phone? Honestly? Really?
Yeah. Being 17 years though.
But that's 1% of the room, okay?
We're killing it.
Yes. So you have people that you can share it with, okay? And number 2 is social media. People, the secret to this business is to grow the number of people who know you and who know what you do. So on social media, you could be adding new friends. People are like, my friends don't want to support me. Screw them. Find some new ones. Okay? Woo! In this business, sometimes you find out who your real friends are. Woo! Find some new ones. I know I still love my old friends. I love them. God bless them. But they have no idea what they're missing out on. They see now. They used to laugh, but they don't laugh anymore. So add some new friends. And then eventually they'll start to see your Legal Shield posts once a week. Don't be all Legal Shield on there because then you're annoying. Mostly personal, and then once a week you post about Legal Shield. A membership testimonial, an associate testimonial, or make sure you take pictures in front of these Legal Shield signs here today. Okay? And so there's social media. Okay, number 3 is business networking. If you are full-time in this business, you've got to get out to a networking group because there are way too many professionals that are waiting for you to tell them about your product because they are paying $500 an hour for a lawyer right now. So we need to be out and networking with people. Number 4 is 3-foot. Those are free leads. The person that cuts your hair, the person that cleans your teeth, the person that pours you your cup of coffee, the person that waits on you at the restaurant, the person that delivers your mail to your house. These are all people that you could be sharing this business with. And so those are free prospects. Dave, my husband, and I have a pact going on now where we can't interact with someone and not share with them the business. And most of the time, we don't feel like doing it because we're normal people. We're just like you. We're all human. And we don't feel like doing it. But guess what? Because we made a promise to each other, we're always like, you do it. No, you do it. You do it. No, you do it. But then we make sure that we give them our business card. Is it okay if I give you my business card? If I can ever help you, please let me know. And then they look at it. And some of them are like, okay, and they walk away. Okay, great. But some of them are like, Legal Shield. Are you an attorney? Right? People will engage with you. I'm going to teach later today what to say, how to get their phone number, how to expose them properly and all that. But that is another fishing pond of where you could be getting prospects in for your marketing strategy. If you don't have people to talk to sitting at your house, get out of your house and go sit in Starbucks and make your follow-up calls there. You will run into somebody and meet somebody new. Yes?
Yes.
All right. If you bring your lunch to the office all the time, start eating out a couple times a week for lunch And you will have someone that's fixing your sandwich or that's waiting on you or standing in line waiting for their poke bowl too. And you can start the conversation. Yes?
Yes.
All right. The fifth is business opportunity leads. Those are not for everybody, but that's another way to also get prospects. Have a conversation with your leader. Say, I want to have a marketing strategy, right? Okay? And that way, when you wake up tomorrow, you know exactly where you're going to be fishing to get your prospects. Yes?
Yes.
Finally, leadership law number 7 is to always be developing someone into a leader. Always be developing somebody. So if you are going to do a private Zoom for one of your new people, invite one of your other people that you're mentoring to come to see how you conduct a private Zoom for your new person. If you're doing a 3-way call, or maybe you're doing follow-up calls, maybe invite that teammate to get together and to make calls together so they can hear you doing calls and to hear you do some 3-way calls for people on your team. So that's like having someone shadow you. But being intentional about developing people into a leader for our team has meant this. We believe in core teams. So what that means is having 5 people, about approximately 5. It could be 1, it could be 7, but usually about 5. 5 people that you're going to be developing into a leader and meeting with weekly on a weekly call. And on this 30-minute call, it's broken up into 3 components. Number 1, you're going to teach leadership. Teach leadership. Because if you're not teaching leadership, where else are they going to hear it? I should say, besides this, actually, I love that you do a leadership portion here. Thank you, Daniel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Nobody else does that, actually. So you guys are here in Florida actually being fed leadership. But nowhere else in the country or in North America are they doing this kind of a thing. So your team that's spread out across the country is needing to get taught leadership skills. Otherwise, they're just seeing the basics all the time. The basics, the basics, the basics. That's like I go to Saddleback Church, and at the church, it's always the basics on Sunday. And if you want to get deep, get into a small group on a Bible study on another night. And so, leadership, you need to get together with your core 5 that you're developing. So you're teaching 10 minutes on leadership in the beginning. Everybody on my core team was older than me. What did I have the right to be teaching them about leadership? Well, I started reading. I started just using a John Maxwell book. So it was Kevin and Linda Torres, it was Bob and Sue Joseph, and 3 other leaders. And we would meet every week. And we first started out with the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. In the beginning, I knew they were better than me. So I said, Kevin and Linda, you're going to teach chapter 1 this Sunday. Bob and Sue, you're going to teach chapter 2 next Sunday, right? And we all took turns, and I was learning from you. You didn't know it, but I was. And so, developing them as a leader. They don't have to teach, but in the beginning, that's what I do. Okay? And so 10 minutes on leadership. Then it's 10 minutes of discussion time. Because when they get to talk, they feel part of the community. When they get to converse, they don't feel so alone anymore. Because I go to a big church where there's 30,000 people on a Sunday. I can walk in and walk out and not have a personal conversation with anybody. But when I go to my small group, they know me. They know my thoughts. I get to share. I get to learn more as a result of me talking. Who here learns when they talk? Like when I'm expressing, sometimes I need to talk things out for me to kind of figure out what I'm trying to get together in here. And so when you're on this group, you're spending 10 minutes discussing, they're getting a chance to be a part of a family. And they need that. They need peers that are like-minded, that are kind of at the same level as they are, and growing together. And then the third component is accountability. This is the most important one. This is the one that I have trouble with because I'm like the mom where I'm like, it's okay, you didn't do your exposures, it's all right. But it's so important that they have accountability because if they do their exposures, they're going to get the results. If you don't do the activity, you're not going to get the results. Someone's not going to magically walk up to you and say, do you sell Legal Shield? Because I need that. Unless you're wearing a Legal Shield shirt, which actually worked. I actually usually don't, like I know the guys wear the shirts more a lot than the women, but they finally have a pretty blouse, on the associate store that I got. So I got one because everything else just didn't like that. So I got one and I was wearing it as I was waiting in line to get into my son's holiday show at school. And one of the moms there, she's like, oh, are you in insurance? And I'm like, well, no, but we do legal insurance, kind of. And so then I got a chance to share. She goes, oh, interesting. So we were having a conversation, and she actually needs to get her will done, and her mom needs to get her trust done. She goes, Mom. So I got 2 phone numbers by wearing my shirt.
Nice.
Anyway, other than that, people are not going to walk up to you and ask you if you could sell them a Legal Shield plan. So, accountability is so important to be making sure that we're doing the action. This is one of my favorite poems by Mother Teresa. It says, people are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. So my prayer is that you take what we're going to teach throughout today's lesson and training for you to be able to go out there and change the lives of the people around you and make a positive impact. Who's with me? Yeah! So I have in the back, I brought some of my books. I wrote a book earlier this year. It's called Real World Superpowers. It's Success Principles for the Next Generation. I wrote it for young adults getting out into the real world. It's filled with 12 superpowers for them to become mentally resilient, and so they can have better relationships. They can do well in business or at work. They can, not get their feelings hurt when people don't like them, because they'll find out when they get out into the world that not everybody is going to be nice to you, even if you're the sweetest person in the whole wide world, because it's not about you, it's about what's going on with them. Because happy people don't say mean things to people. Only those who are hurting do. So I wrote it for my children originally, because my oldest is 15, and I wanted her to go out there with the tools to succeed. But I do have them available here today. I had people that are 80 years old tell me, this is great, it's for all ages. It's not just for young people. But there's even a chapter on dating superpowers, how to know if this person is truly the one for you. So, and parents of young ones, you'll like it because it talks about why waiting till you're married is cool. Okay, so anyway, they're available here today. There's 1 for 15 or 3 for 30, and I'll sign them for you and we can take a picture. But all right, so with that, I know we're getting ready for the guests to start arriving as well, too. So we'll do that. I'll turn it back to the beautiful Miss Carly.
Thank you.